Greetings, one and all, out there in Cyberland. My name is Jason, and you have happened across the latest edition of Tunes and Talk. Welcome, 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 or welcome back, as the case may be. Tunes and Talk is a little project I started a couple of years ago during the pandemic when everybody was in lockdown, and I couldn't get out to my usual open mic and karaoke venues and sing with my friends. And I was doing it pretty much weekly or bi-weekly during 2020, and then the world opened back up, and my life got crazy busy, as it tends to stay. And now I tend to record one of these, maybe every 2 to 4 months. It's been about 4 months since the last one. I had not planned to be away so long, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But the way this works, I've got 10 songs that I'll sing you. We'll chat about nothing of any consequence in between, usually. Although tonight it's pretty consequential what I have to share with you. And hopefully at the end of this, we'll all feel a little better. I've been planning to do this Tunes and Talk for a while, but I really hadn't gotten around to it. Everything got so busy, and I kept putting it off. And then 2 things happened. Number one, my friend Les Michaels passed away rather unexpectedly at quite a young age. God love him, he had gone in to the hospital for some surgery and ended up contracting sepsis and was in a coma, and really sort of blindsided everyone here in the Palm Springs cabaret community, because Les was the most beautiful, buoyant, effervescent individual who put so much in the way of time and energy and blood, sweat, and tears into keeping the cabaret community alive and well, and giving people a voice and venues to perform in, and running open mics and promoting their shows just tirelessly, and really there was no one in the Palm Springs cabaret community, and few in the LA cabaret community that didn't know Les, and to know him was to love him. And so that was a huge blow to our musical community. And then just about a week or so ago, another sweet, beautiful friend of mine, Joann Kapella, later Joann Kapella Snowden, passed away. And most of the folks here in the Valley knew her as Karaoke Joe. And she had been, among other things, a karaoke KJ for certainly more years than I've lived in this valley, and I've been here almost 15 years. And everybody knew Karaoke Joe, and everybody had sung with her at some point. And I met her 1 year to the day after moving here, and I just adored her. She always had a big smile and was such a wonderful karaoke KJ hostess. She never, ever lost sight of the fact that karaoke really is about just people getting together and having fun, having a good time through music. And so I thought, what better way to remember both of these beautiful individuals than to do a little memorial Tunes and Talk to them. And so that's what this is about. And yesterday was Thanksgiving, and it's a good day to remember the things and the people in our lives for which we are very grateful. So I'm going to kick things off tonight with a little something from the Carpenters, and I'll tell you why after I've sung it. Penned by no other than the great Carole King. It's gonna take some time this time to get myself in shape. I really fell out of line this time. I really missed the gate. The birds on the telephone line are crying out to me. Next time. And I won't be so blind next time, and I'll find some harmony. But it's going to take some time this time, and I can't make demands. But like the young trees in the winter time, I'll learn how to bend. After all the tears we've spent, how could we make amends? So it's one more round for experience, and I'm on the road again. And it's going to take some time this time. And I can't make demands. I learn how to bend. It's gonna take some time this time, no matter what I plan. But like the young trees in the winter time, I learn how to bend. After all the tears we've spent, how could we make amends? So it's one more round for experience, and I'm on the road again. And it's going to take some time this time. Carpenters. It's going to take some time this time. So I think I had lived here maybe not quite a couple of years, maybe a couple of years, maybe not quite a couple of years. And I had a beautiful friend named Arch Brown, who was the owner and producer of the small theater where I began performing on stage here in the Valley. And he and I, every now and then, after he retired and the theater had closed, we would go out and have dinner and chat, and sometimes take in a show at the McCallum Theater. And he was wheelchair bound, and so he used to kid me. He said, "Would you drive Miss Daisy to the McCallum if I get us some tickets?" So, and I wanted to kind of repay him, and so I decided to take him out to dinner one night. And I needed to scope out a place that had good wheelchair access and good parking and all that kind of stuff. And there was a place called the Old Creek House. And I pulled in there one night to sort of give it a trial run myself before inviting him to dinner. And I walked in and I asked for a table. And the hostess said, "Did you want to go into the lounge for the singing or be in the main dining room?" I said, "I didn't know there was singing going on." And this man with silver hair and a big smile walked up out of the lounge area of the bar and put his hand on my arm and said, "Oh, I've seen this guy around town. He's a singer. He'll be in here with us." And that man was Les Michaels. And the next thing I know, I was seated and there was this open mic going on. I had no idea, but apparently Les had been running this open mic for years. And I was listening to all these incredibly, incredibly gifted people sing. And Joel Baker was at the piano as the accompanist, the most talented pianist accompanist in the desert. And Les said, "Okay, well, it's your turn. You come on, get up here and sing. Get up and sing." And I'm like, and he had seen me on stage in a play, but it wasn't a musical. So I think in his mind, he just thought, well, he's a performer. Obviously, he sings. And I had asked Joel if he knew an old jazz song. And he's like, "Not well enough to sing." And I said, "Do you know anything by the Carpenters?" Well, Joel is the Carpenters aficionado. And he said, "They're my all-time favorite recording artists." I said, "Well, do you know it's going to take some time this time?" And he played it, and I sang. That was the first song I ever sang at one of Les Michaels' open mics. And I was hooked. And, you know, if Les had never grabbed hold of me and dragged me in there, I might have never had the courage to get up and sing with a live accompanist and something that was a step up or two from the karaoke venues where I've been singing. So thank you so much, Les. That's a debt I'll never be able to repay. The other song I sang that night was this one. And every now and then, if I would go to open mic, either with Les or someone else's open mic, and Les happened to be in the audience, I would try and make a point of singing this one for him. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the guy who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here, you'd think sure he's got everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's-its and what's-its galore. You want thingamabobs? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing, walking around on those, what are they called? Oh, feet. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing, strolling along down a, what's the word again? Street. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. What would I give if I could live out of these waters? What would I pay to spend a day warm on the sand? I bet you on land they understand. Don't reprimand their sons and daughters, young men and women, sick of swimming, ready to stand and ready to know what the people know. Ask them my questions, get some answers like, what's a fire and why does it, what's the word? Burn. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore that shore up above? Out of the sea, wish I could be part of that world. Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I sang that song because Les, of course I showed up that first night. I didn't have any sheet music. I didn't know I was going to be singing. I didn't even own any sheet music at that point. And Les had a couple of sing-along books. And one of them was movie music, and I was thumbing through those. He said, here, take these books, and I'm sure you'll find something else to sing. Okay. And I found that song, and I knew I could sing it from karaoke. So I thought, God, I don't know if I can sing this with a live accompanist. But I did, and when I finished, Les came up, and he was crying. And he was so touched when I performed that song. And I thought, what a beautiful, big-hearted guy that can be moved by this tall, skinny guy singing, Ariel's song from The Little Mermaid. And Les really was such a tender-hearted soul, and in the most wonderful way. And I always said, you know, if you could move less to tears on an open mic night, it was a really, really good night. You know, it's testament to his love of music and to his understanding of the power that music has to soothe the soul and move us. Now Joann, I never saw her cry, but I saw her smile and I saw her laugh. And she and I used to do this song as a duet. Whenever I'd go do karaoke with her, she's like, well, no, we're going to do our song. And it wasn't recorded as a duet, but we turned it into one. So, Joann, if you're up there right now in the great beyond, I know you're going to be singing this with me. Sorry now, who's sorry now, whose heart is aching for breaking each vow, who's sad and blue, who's crying too, just like I cried over you. Right to the end, just like a friend, I tried to warn you somehow. You had your way, now you must pay. I'm glad that you're sorry now. Right to the end, right to the end, just like a friend, like a lifelong friend. I tried to warn me, you did, somehow. You had your way, I had my way. Now you must pay, I've gotta pay and pay. I'm glad that you're sorry now. And we'd end with a great big hug. Joann gave the best hugs. Such warmth came from her. And anytime you sang with Joann, anytime you sang with Joe, there was just a warmth in the room. She just lit it up. Big hair and a big smile. And she loved her some country music, and she was very cool. Always, as I said, dressed to the nines. And she could dress down and still look dressed to the nines. And her high-heeled cowboy boots and acid-wash blue jeans and a nice little sparkly top. But always she knew that it didn't matter if she was just the person spinning the music. She knew she was performing. She had that crowd in the palm of her hands, and if she was performing, she was going to be ready to perform, look ready to perform, put that personality on, and she could be country and cool at the same time. So Joann, this is for you. I remember wearing the straight-leg Levi's, flannel shirts even when they weren't in style. I remember singing with Roy Rogers at the movies when the West was really wild. I was listening to the Opry, and all of my friends were digging rock and roll and rhythm and blues. I was country when country wasn't cool. I remember circling the drive-in, pulling up, turning down George Jones. I remember when no one was looking, I was putting peanuts in my Coke. I took a lot of kidding 'cause I never did fit in. Now look at everybody trying to be what I was then. I was country when country wasn't cool. Oh, I was country when country wasn't cool. I was country from my hat down to my boots. I still act and look the same. What you see ain't nothing new. I was country when country wasn't cool. All us country bumpkins are sticking to our roots. I'm just glad we're in a country where we're all free to choose. I was country when country wasn't cool. I was country when country wasn't cool. I was country from my hat down to my boots. Well, I still act and look the same. What you see ain't nothing new. I was country when country wasn't cool. Yeah, I was country when country wasn't cool. Oh, Joann, Kapella, Snowden, Karaoke Joe, you were the coolest country gal I ever knew. And I miss you. I miss you, and I miss you, Les Michaels. And, you know, it's really important, as I said, when you're going through life, not to take it for granted, because, you know, neither Les nor Joann was too far along in years in the great scheme of things when you think about what the longevity is of the average person these days. And it's important to make the most of life and be grateful for the blessings that we have. As I said, yesterday was Thanksgiving, and hopefully a lot of you were counting your blessings then. And so here's a little reminder for all of us, because Les and Joann, I think, really got it. And through their passion for music, they understood what the song's all about. No complaints and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams and placing bets. I've learned that all you give is all you get. So give it all you got. I've had my share, I drank my fill, and even though I'm satisfied, I'm hungry still to see what's down another road beyond the hill, and do it all again. So here's to life and all the joy it brings. Yes, here's to life, the dreamers and their dreams. Funny how time just flies, how love can go from warm hellos to sad goodbyes, and leave you with just memories you've memorized to keep your winters warm. But there's no yes in yesterday. Who knows what tomorrow brings or takes away? As long as I'm still in the game, I want to play. For laughs, for life, for love. So here's to life and every joy it brings. Here's to life, the dreamers and their dreams. May all your storms be weathered, and all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, here's to you. May all your storms be weathered, and all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, and here's to you. And here's to you. Here's to life. Funny how warm hellos can go to sad goodbyes, leaving us with the memories we've memorized to keep our winters warm. And my memories of Les and Joann definitely warm my heart. It's sad to know that they're gone, but I don't feel a sadness because I just see them both smiling, and I can hear them both laughing in my head, and I can feel hugs, and so I know they're still around in some form. Whatever you believe, that's up to you, but I think the spirit lives on once the body passes, and I think they're still around for us. Here in the local musical community, they were too big of a part of our lives for too long to just take a powder on us completely. They were our friends, and and here's the funny thing. Now, Joann was very outspoken politically, and she and I had completely different political views, but we were friends first, and I think it's sad that so many people over the past few years have lost really strong and loving friendships strictly over politics. Not that politics aren't important, but they're temporary. Friendship really lasts, or at least it can. And regardless of how different our ideologies may have been in that arena, I always knew that if I had ever called up Joann at 3 in the morning and said, "Joann, this is Jason, and I am stuck out on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, and I didn't know who else to call. Can you come get me?" I knew she'd be right there, and I would have done the same for her. So if you've cut some people out of your life just because of a ballot they cast, well, for your sake, I hope it was worth it. But I'm really glad that I didn't let that kind of thing come between me and Joe, because we were friends long before any of that came up, and still, even after the political turmoil of the past few years, we'd run into each other at the grocery store, and it was always just a big hi and a hello and a hug and how you doing and miss you, and so God, there's some food for thought for you, and so speaking to friendship and friends who are there for you when you're in trouble. There's a little something from Donny Osmond. Tell me from the heart, in your eyes I see the pain. It's tearing you apart. Let me take it all away. You know someone believes in you and will love you no matter what you do. You know that you are home and you're not alone. When you hear me say, whenever you're in trouble, whenever you may need me, I will fight for you. I will help you through. Whenever life's deceiving, I'll give you new meaning. No matter where you are, you're always in my heart. Whenever you're in trouble, I will be right here. Sometimes you're gonna find nothing goes the way you plan, but whatever's on your mind, I will try to understand. You know someone is by your side who may help you through the darkest night. You know that you are home and you're not alone. When you hear me say, Whenever you're in trouble, whenever you may need me, I will fight for you. I will help you through. Whenever life's deceiving, I'll give you new meaning. No matter where you are, you're always in my heart. Whenever you're in trouble, I will be right here. 'Cause now's the time to share what you're feeling inside, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many mistakes. Oh, now's the time to reach out, and you will find that whenever you need me to care, I'll always be there. Oh, whenever you're in trouble, whenever you may need me, I will fight for you. I will help you through. Whenever life's deceiving, I'll give you new meaning. No matter where you are, you're always in my heart. Whenever you're in trouble, I will be right here. I will be right here. Whenever you're in trouble, I will be right here. So, be there for your friends. Let them be there for you, whatever your differences. If you love them enough, well, sometimes those differences don't seem so big after all. Now, this song was one that was very special to Joann, and I never knew why. I sang it a couple of times with her at karaoke, and she always would come up afterwards and thank me for singing that song, and she would just say that it has very special meaning for me. And I have a sneaking suspicion that it may have had to do with a son of hers who she lost at a very young age through some pretty sad circumstances. But I never knew why it meant a lot to her, but I was glad that I could sing it for her. Adjust my volume here a little bit. And so I'm gonna sing it again now, and I apologize. It's not one that I do particularly well, and it's not really in my key, but I think Joann will forgive me. Let's take a walk together near the ocean shore, hand in hand, you and I. Let's cherish every moment we have been given. Time is passing by. I often pray before I lay down by your side. You receive your calling before I wake. Could I make it through the night? Cherish Cherish the love, cherish the life, cherish the love. The world is always changing, nothing stays the same, but love will stand the test of time. The next life that we live in remains to be seen. Will you be by my side? I often pray before I lay down by your side. If you receive your calling before I awake, could I make it through the night? Cherish the love we have. We should cherish the life we live. Cherish the love, cherish the life, cherish the love. Cherish the love we have. Both as long as we can live. Cherish the love, cherish the life, cherish the love. Cherish the love, cherish the life. Now and forever. Cherish the love we have. We should cherish the life we live. Cherish the love, cherish the life, cherish the love. Cherish the love we have, both as long as we two shall live. Cherish Cool and the Gang. Oh, Les Michaels. Les Michaels, you kept asking me to sing this at open mic, and I kept forgetting to put it in my book. I sang this one summer night at open mic at a place called AJ's on the Green, and Les used to host. It's so funny, Les had hosted all these open mics. Well, it was the same open mic, but it was a traveling open mic. And the reason it was traveling open mic was because when I first started singing, we were at the old Creek House. And open mic would always be a really busy night there, and then they weren't doing that much business on the other nights, so eventually it closed. So Les went around and tried to sell all these other places in town on it, and eventually we ended up in the Red Tomato briefly, and then it closed, and we ended up in 360 North for a while, and then it closed, and then we ended up in Libraries for a while, and it closed, and it sort of became like a bad joke that we were leaving a trail of destruction in our wake. It's like wherever Les brought the open mic, that was like an omen that it was going to close soon. But the thing about it, all of those places would have closed so much sooner if he had not brought that open mic and brought all of us singing buddies of his in. We really kept a lot of those places alive, and I don't know that the owners and managers of those venues really knew what a debt they owed to Les Michaels for at least giving them one or sometimes 2 nights a week that they were busy. But the longest Les's open mic was anywhere. It was at AJ's on the Green, even under different owners. The first owners, when they sold it, luckily the second owner kept Les and his group coming back, and I used to drop in from time to time, usually after work, and sing a song. And one summer night, it wasn't too crowded, because in the summer a lot of our snowbirds go away, and I was just brave enough to try this song. It's not in my key because it was written for like a 19-year-old male soprano. And I am neither 19 nor a soprano, so all I've got in that equation is the male part. But Les just fell in love with it, and he kept, ever since, he wanted me to sing this song and sing this song and sing this song for him. And when I would have it in my book, he wouldn't be there at whatever open mic I was at, if it wasn't his. And then when he would be there, he was like, can you sing this song for me? And I wouldn't have it in my book, and Joel didn't know it by heart well enough to play it. So I'm sorry that I didn't get to sing it for you one more time, Les, but I'm going to sing it for you now, and it's from Dear Evan Hansen. I've learned to slam on the brakes before I even turn the key, before I make a mistake, before I leave with the worst in me. Give them no reason to stay, no slipping up if you slip away. So I got nothing to share, no, I got nothing to say. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned. On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. Oh, I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Oh, can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? We start with stars in our eyes, we start believing that we belong, but every sun doesn't rise, and no one tells you where you went wrong. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned. On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. Try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Does anybody see? Is anybody waving? When you're falling in a forest, there's nobody around. Do you ever really crash? Do you even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash? Do you even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash? Do you even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash? Do you even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound? Oh, on the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. Try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Oh, can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? Is anybody waving, 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 waving? Oh. Well, I finally sang it for you, Les. I'm sorry you couldn't be front row center when I did, but something tells me you were listening anyway, and I hope I did it justice. You know, whenever we'd go to karaoke with Joann, Karaoke Joe, a lot of times we would close the place. Me and a couple of her stalwart singers would stay right up until the last song. And every great once in a while, she would play Goodnight Sweetheart as the last song, but about 8 times out of 10, she would always play the same song to close things out for the night, and a bunch of us would all sing along, because she would sing it, and she'd sing it with me, and so Joann, I guess you've closed out karaoke for the final time on this earth, so I sent you, well, you sent us home enough times with this song, so I'm sending you home tonight with your goodnight song. Pack up all my cares and woes, here I go, singing low. Bye, bye, blackbird, where somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, so is he. Bye, bye, blackbird, no one here can love and understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. Make my bed and light the light, I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye-bye. Pack up all my cares and woes, here I go, singing low. Bye, bye, blackbird, where somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, so is he. Bye, bye, blackbird, no one here can love and understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. Make my bed and light the light, I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye-bye. One here can care and understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. Make my bed and light the light, I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye-bye. Blackbird, bye, 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 bye. Takes me back. I was thinking with Joann all those different nights and closing it down, and that's the last one we'd hear before packing it up and going home. So I really, really appreciate you guys sticking around and tuning in for this little self-styled memorial to these two beautiful souls, Les Michael and Joann Kapella Snowden. And I was at her wedding. I was at a very, very short guest list when she married Jim Snowden about a year before he passed away from heart disease. and I was so flattered to be invited. But you know, both these individuals were so special to our musical community, and they're not going to be forgotten anytime soon. Not ever going to be forgotten by me. And you know, they brought a lot of positive change to the community, and the way people here enjoyed music, and so I can't think of a better way to wrap this up than with this song, which also was one that I sang one night at open mic, and it was a really good night because by the time I finished, I looked over and there was Les with a big smile on his face, yet in a puddle of tears. And good memories, good times spent with a couple of really wonderful souls. So the Les Michaels and the Joann Kapella Snowden, here's to you. Thank you for changing us for good. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I am who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Well, who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. Who can say I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a seed dropped by a bird in the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe that we've been changed for the better. because we knew you, Les and Joe. Because we knew you. We have been changed for good. Thanks to you, Les and Joe. Good night, all.